Yeah, right. I don't know, I should have started there. He didn't start it. It's not even fair,
Alright, I'm going to go ahead and start. Would you guys rather spend $100 on having someone come out and change your tire, or would you rather do it yourself and save the money?
Well, I'm in the Air Force. I can afford it.
Shut
Yeah, exactly.
My name is Stephen Mitchell, and today I'm going to show you guys how to change a tire. So the objective is to show you guys how to properly change a tire, and by the end of this class you should be confident enough to change your own and be able to save yourself some money in the long run. So today in class we're going to discuss the visual inspection of the tire, the actual removal of the tire, and the final inspection slash safety requirements that are involved when changing the tire out. This is all in reference to Automotive Technology by James Halderman, which is the book that we use at Green River College. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to prep the car and check for safety precautions. The first thing that you want to do is check out the vehicle, make sure that nothing is broken and nothing is damaged while you're changing the tire. The last thing that you want is to have something like a damaged hub bearing, and you go to take the tire off, you put a new one on, and then you have further problems as you go down the road. So you don't want to put a new tire on and then have further problems, because then you're going to eventually damage that tire, and then you're just out even more money than what it costs just to replace one tire itself. The next thing you want to do is go ahead and loosen up the lug nuts. There's two different ways that you can do this. You can use a breaker bar, or in other words, you can use a tire rod to loosen the lug nuts, which you only want to use about a quarter to a half inch of a turn. You don't want to loosen them too loose, because you don't want the tire falling off whenever you get ready to go take it off. The other thing you can use is an impact wrench. Now when you use this, you just want to use short little bursts to get the lug nuts off, because you don't, like I said, you don't want to take it all the way off. So what we're going to do, we're going to put it on here, just do a short little burst, all the way around, and as you see, the tire's still on. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and jack the car up. As you see, to save some time, I've already had the car jacked up. There's a jack stand underneath for safety precautions in case something were to happen. It prevents injury, basically, is what it does. So you go ahead and you look for the pinch weld that's underneath, which is a long metal strip that stretches across the vehicle. You want to put the jack underneath there and go ahead and jack the car up from there. Now that the vehicle is prepped and inspected, now the tire is ready to be replaced. The first step that you do when replacing the tire is you take off all the lug nuts. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab our impact wrench again. We're going to go ahead and remove all the lug nuts, and we're going to take the tire completely off. When you take the tire off, you want to make sure that you don't bend it or twist it in a fashion where it could bend the studs that's holding on the wheel, because if you bend those and they break, you're not going to be able to get the tire back on, and you're going to have to pay more money to get that replaced as well. So we're going to go ahead and take the lug nuts completely off. And you want to set the lug nuts aside so that you don't lose them. Next, you want to pull the tire straight off, and then set the old tire aside. Now that you got the tire off the vehicle, you're ready to put the tire back on, the new tire on. So what you do is you find your new tire. In this case, we're going to use the old tire because there's nothing wrong with it. You want to visually inspect it for cracks or damages, so that way you're not putting a bad tire on. And you want to put it on in the same fashion that you took the old tire off. So you put it straight on, you go ahead and grab your lug nuts, and you want to hand tighten each lug nut onto the wheel. Now that the new tire is on, you're ready to tighten up the lug nuts. So before you tighten up the lug nuts, you want to get the tire or the whole vehicle back on the ground. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove the jack stand, and we're going to get the vehicle back on the ground.
Appointments.
That was very odd. You did down there.
Alright, now that the vehicle is back on the ground, next step is to go ahead and tighten the lug nuts. So we're going to put the impact on there, we're going to tighten the lug nuts, and we're going to do it in a star pattern. Alright, now that the tire is finally on, the final thing that you want to do is check around, clean up the area, and properly dispose of the tire. So lastly, we're going to do our final checks and inspections. You want to remove the jack stands, clean everything up, and properly dispose of the tire per state and local laws. Now that the tire's been replaced, the vehicle is fully operational. And in conclusion today, we did a demo on how to properly change the tire. First, we did a visual inspection on what was done. Next, we actually removed the tire as procedure called for. And finally, we did a safety check and a follow inspection to state how the operating was. So just remember, when you want to spend more money, you'll be able to next time because you'll know how to properly change a tire.